on Guam.
KUAM News, winner of the 2022 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the Culture Club.
KUAM News Hotspot is presented by Calvo Enterprises, Inc. Hafa Day Guam all over the world. If you're here right now watching us, first of all, we appreciate it. So thank you, and Sidus Masi, each and every one of you. You know what time it is, you know who we are, you know where we are, and you know what this is. If you don't, we are KUAM. This is the Hotspot. It is time to bring you positivity and everything awesome about Guam, and you are watching us on Peacock, on YouTube, on Facebook, and on KUAM TV8. We have a wonderful show today. So here is what is on today's menu. We are taking care of making sure that our island's beauty, our culture, lives on through various forms. So I'll be talking to two friends of mine about that very, very shortly. We'll also check in with the man himself, Jess Rosario, for another episode of Boca Talks and let you know how you can live a healthy island life. Because it is Wednesday, we also are going to bring you yet another episode of Nihi Zen KUAM, our partnership with the Nihi Foundation. Yes, Dr. Kelly Marsh-Taito, really, really excited about that. And we are closing out with another round of News Bites. And I guess, you know, let the cat out of the bag. Our first guest, two friends of mine, like I said, former Senator Dr. Kelly Marsh-Taito, an educator and academic, a very, very good friend, and someone who believes wholeheartedly in cultural preservation. So, Senator, very nice to see you as always.
Oh, great to be here.
All right, and a very wonderful person also making sure that art and culture live on through the memory of his father, the late David Lujan Sablan, Ben Sablan. So Ben, Hafa Day.
Hafa Day.
All right, buenas, and thank you both for joining me today. I would say, guys, because you're here for two different and yet similar events. Ben is talking about an art gallery which is going to exhibit and hopefully with your contributions make sure that his father's memory is preserved. And Doctor, you're also here because of a YouTube channel that's gone up with the parallel between your two respective projects being preservation.
Well, preservation, but also his father was a subject. We interviewed him, and so we have many videos of his father specifically as well.
There
so
you go.
That's the most immediate connection.
Okay, so Ben, a lot of people remember your dad, Debit, as a very, very passionate member of our community, very active in Nation Tomorrow. So
Yes.
for people that may not remember, you know, your father and his work, so we can kind of like set up why his memory needs to live on and everything like that. Please let us know.
Right. So, you know, growing up as his son, I knew him very differently from a lot of other people. You know, the way a lot of other people knew him. Some knew him just as an artist and never even knew the work he did as a native rights activist with the Nation. Some people only knew him as a Nation member. And one for me was I just recently found out he was one of the pioneers in preserving the culture, rather depicting the way our ancestors had lived back in those times.
And that's so critical, Ben, because you know they say that, you know, and I'm old enough to remember when we went through as a society that part of Guam, or you know, like in the early '90s, they called it, you know, the self-determination point, when they say we really don't have a record of who we are and who we became and everything like that. So, you know, doing that and making sure it's like, hey, this is who we are, this is who we were, this is who we're going to be. I mean, that's so essential.
Yeah, so learning that ignited a even bigger fire in my heart for cultural preservation to continue my dad's legacy. That was what he was one of the most passionately, you know, working towards.
Okay, and we are right now asking the community in earnest, like if you do have pieces of art featuring featuring the late Dave. Yeah,
right.
And actually you're wearing one piece right now, that wonderful Sana'i you have. Can you tell me about that?
If I remember correctly, this is what he had started wearing when he had become a Nation co-founder. And so you asked me earlier how heavy this is, and I picked it up to weigh, but then realizing that where it's been, there's way more weight behind this, and so I just want to, my sister and I, we want to do our father proud, and you know, continue moving forward with what he had strived so hard to do, was to bring the culture, kind of reignite how our culture benefits us even today.
Absolutely.
Even to today, yes.
And of course, and as you've illustrated here, and we thank you so much for doing so, Ben, is, you know, he was really a Renaissance man who worked in a variety, you know, of forms and of events. And, you know, we're going to get to that in a moment, but I want to talk to Dr. Kelly Marsh-Taitano about your work working in a new, modern, contemporary digital form and everything with this YouTube channel that you put together, which makes sure that, you know, that these images and moving pictures of our culture, you know, live on for a future generation who's used to that style of receiving information.
Absolutely. And the voices, you know, that's one of the things I really treasure, is we can still listen to Saina David Lujan Sablon through having interviewed him and making these videos out of him. And the same with all of the other Manamco, Judy Flores, Ben Meno, I mean, the list goes on and on, Robert Celestial, Rob Limtiaco. Those voices will be with us for generations, and we'll get to hear firsthand from them. But we are very excited that it is now available on YouTube. So we're uploading 2 videos a month, 2 videos a week. And we actually have over 40 videos, and we've done it with the modern person in mind. So we have one series where they're 3 to 5 minutes. You can pass them around on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, and we can all have the attention span to watch the whole video. And then we have longer ones that are for the classroom or for those who have that deeper interest. And so those are 10 minutes long, maybe 20 minutes long, maybe up to 40 minutes long. And then at the end of the
so you've got the bite-sized morsels, let's say like you've got the coconut candy version, and then you've got more like the whole,
and I love coconut candy, so you know.
And you've got the Fiesta Plate version.
Exactly. And at the very end of all of it,
I just love making food references.
I am there with you. I can talk about food all day long, every day, but then we're going to be putting up the full interviews at the end as well, so that if people want to sit down for a half an hour, and watch it from beginning to end, then they have that option as well.
Well, in interviewing Ben's late father and everything, what impresses upon you the most, and maybe give like a little sneak peek of his interview that people can find on your YouTube channel about who he was and the message that still reverberates with us?
Yes, well, there's so many messages, and you know, I got to know, and we worked with David Lujan Sablon both for the Lati book, because he's present in there, and then for this video series. So I've been getting to visit with him for several years now, and I just love who he is as a person. He's soft-spoken, but so resolute, and he stands strong in his convictions. And so, like with Ben, they grew up with a very traditional upbringing in a lot of ways. They were still living very sustainably, eating, you know, but that was what his father brought forward to them. He didn't just say it, he lived it.
Exactly. As an activist should, and we will always respect that. And I guess that's the word, Ben, because respect is the biggest thing, and you said, and your sister are showing the ultimate respect by making sure that you know, his teachings will be passed on to a future generation. So like, you know, talk about this art project and who you're asking to, you know, if they have pieces or, you know, contributions, you know, from your dad, and how they can have them featured.
So what we want to exhibit with this is who my dad was as a whole, you know. He, like some who even know him as an artist didn't know that he sculpted. He has a good amount of sculptures out there, and so what we want to show is a bigger scope of who he was, not just the activist, not just the painter. He was a father, brother, grandfather, great-grandfather.
And a Chamorro too.
I would say he is as Chamorro as can be.
Absolutely.
We lived it, and we want to share that with anyone who's willing to help us share what they have of him.
Okay, and how can they get in touch with you or your sister to if they have pieces that? And I appreciate how the senator said, you know, because YouTube is shareable, and that's such a Chamorro thing to do. It's like, if your dad did something with sculpture, he'd probably just be like, take it home or something like that. So they can contribute those too if they were gifted.
That was one of the things that I want to personally showcase myself, is that my father was very generous. You know, and that's a big part of our culture. So if you have anything that means something to you that you received from my father, I'd appreciate if you called me 688-4236, and we will do our best to include it in the exhibit. So the exhibit's gonna be we're looking May 19th, and it would probably run about a month. We're still finalizing the details, but we do want to have certain nights for special events or whatnot. You know, maybe a night that showcases his Nashon work, or just sculpting, or his with veterans, because he was a Vietnam vet as well. Maybe we'll have a Vietnam veteran night, or something of the sort.
All right, well, everybody, please get in contact with Ben. That number again, 688-4236, right? 688-4236, and then quickly, Dr. Kelly Marsh, I'd like to know, what is the name of your wonderful YouTube channel so people can hit that subscribe and like button, as the kids say?
Yes, hit subscribe, but also the bell, so that you receive all the notifications every time we upload.
Oh, you're good.
So, you know, you just go to YouTube and just search for Manamku to Manhoben. It's as simple as that. It should take you right there. And then, like you said, subscribe and then hit the bell.
All right. Dr. Kelly Marsh Taitino and Ben Savon, thank you both. We do appreciate it. All right. Preservation, everybody, as we said. And please stay tuned, because we're preserving more about our island's culture, and we're showing more about how you can live a healthy island lifestyle when we come back right here on the Hotspot.
The One Micronesia Show, Sundays on the stations and digital platforms of KUAM Communications. Join me, Victoria Spahn, for one-on-one interviews with Micronesians in our region and around the world, doing amazing things and representing our community. Plus, I'll be sharing different looks at our diverse cultures, languages, food, and much more. And as a special treat and a way to end the show, we're hooking you up with a musical performance every month with a One Mic Jam Sesh, sharing music from all over the Micronesian region. It's sharing our common world, because we are One Micronesia.
Want a real taste of New York? The classic New York pizza offers a big, bold taste that's a Guam favorite. It's handmade with 16 inches of foldable crust, a sweet marinara sauce, and your favorite topping. And at 30% larger than our large, classic New York pizza is only $10.99 for carryout. Bring together your family and friends for a classic New York pizza party. Each pizza is just $10.99 for carryout. Classic New York pizza. So close, you can taste it. Only at your Island Pizza Hut.
Watch KUAM TV 8, live on Peacock. Check out our live channel, NBC shows, live sports original programming, movies, plus so much more. Visit peacocktv.com/local or download the app and subscribe today.
All right, welcome back to the Hotspot. Man, that was a wonderful interview, so thank you again to the Senator and Ben. That was really, really good. All right, if you didn't know, April is Financial Literacy Month, and in these rather trying times, it is important that each one of us, as Guamanians and as members of a modern society, we have a handle on our finances, we understand how money works. I mean, I know it's a very, very esoteric art, but it's not as hard as it seems. And the lessons that you're going to learn next week right here on the Hotspot, Monday through Thursday, we are bringing in experts, and we are going to teach you how to understand money, how to save your money, how to invest your money. It's fiscal fitness, as you can see there with that wonderful graphic. See that the dollar sign is the S? I love that. It's a mnemonic. It's wonderful. So, but the key thing is it's interactive, and if you want to get involved, and we highly suggest that you do, please make sure to DM us. either on Instagram or on Facebook. We're at KUAM News. Ask your questions. Ask away. We would love to address with our experts who are bringing in anything, any inquiries that you may have, again, about personal finance, wealth management, improving your credit score, getting out of debt, the importance of being in debt, and everything like that. I could ask a million of these, but we want to feature your questions. Any question you have, just DM us at KUAM News, and we will certainly feature them. All right, speaking of featured, we are going to go live now downtown where we are featuring the one and only Jess Rosario. Because it is Wednesday, we're going to go to the Boca Box and find out how to live a healthy island lifestyle. What do you got for us today, Jess?
Hafa and good morning. Welcome back to the HotSpot at the Boca Box. I am Jess Rosario. I am the nutrition professional and the owner here. Before I get started on talking about diet today and nutrition and health, I wanted to give a big shout out to one of my best friends, Logan Regis, and his wife, Tina. They just had a beautiful baby boy yesterday, so congratulations, guys. Such a good thing. He looks like his mom and not his dad. But getting back to our segment today, I have been on a 21-day challenge where I challenged myself to change the way my body looks, to change the way my lifestyle so that I'm eating better, I'm sleeping better, I'm exercising. And I did all of this through the Easter weekend. Now, one of the things that I got to talk to a lot of people about was them being overwhelmed with the fact that they couldn't stick to their diet on that weekend. And I wanted to kind of address that because that happens a lot with a lot of people, right? You get on a diet and then you're doing really good and then the weekend comes and you have an event that happens. You have a birthday, you have a christening, you have a party, you have grad season coming up, whatever it is, right? And we are there and it's very hard for us to stay on track with our diet. Right? I mean, there are ways you can stay on track. There's options for you to eat healthy. But honestly, how many of us do that? Unless we're like, preparing for some sort of competition or some sort of event where we have to be overly restrictive, we're not going to be, right? We're going to get tempted by a lot of the food that's out there and we're going to eat it. So I wanted to talk about things that we should do and things that we should not do when we have a bad day of eating or we just cheat and go off of our diet, right? Because that's the reality of things. We are going to fail in a sense, but I don't want people to think that, just because you had a little mishap and you stumbled a little bit, that it's all over and done with, right? So I got basically kind of like 3 things that you should not do when you have a bad day of eating, or you just kind of go overboard. So the first thing is that after you get done eating and the night comes over and you get on to Monday and you're thinking about, oh my God, I just ate way too much yesterday, I shouldn't have done that. First thing you do is don't overly restrict yourself by thinking that you have to not eat or that you're eating super small because the rationale is I ate so much the day before, I'm not going to eat a lot today. Don't do that. That's not worth it, right? We have to be realistic about our approach to all of this, right? And I always tell everyone that asks me about this, I say, one cheat meal, one burger and fries and soda is not gonna make you fat the same way eating a salad is not gonna make you skinny. It's all about consistency. If we're constantly eating bad, then of course we're gonna gain some weight because that's just not good for us. And if we're constantly eating good and putting food that's nutritious and good for our body, if we're putting that into our body and eating that consistently, then yes, we're going to lose some weight. But don't think that, just because you messed up on one day, it's all said and done. That's not how it works, right? So don't think that you have to be very restrictive about what you're eating the next day. The second thing is don't think, and this was kind of something that I did for a long time, don't think that you have to do more exercise than you normally do to burn off all the calories that you ate the day before. Don't do that. Just jump back into your normal routine. Go for a 3-mile run, work out for 45 minutes, work out for an hour. But don't think that, just because you work out for an hour a day, now you have to work out for 2 hours. Don't do that to yourself. The only thing that does with thinking that you have to work out more and that you have to restrict yourself with eating, that's just going to cause you to have a bad relationship with food. And that's something that I've had to to kind of deal with for a really long time, going through college and everything, was I had that mentality. But don't think that you have to do that, right? All you have to do is get back on track. And we'll talk about that a little later on. But don't have a negative relationship with food by thinking that you have to overly restrict yourself with the food that you're eating the next day, and that you have to work out even more than you did normally, right? And then the last thing that you should not do is, just because you ate bad, don't say, screw it, I'm done, this is not going to work, and that's it. And then have a bad week of eating, have a bad month of eating, because, again, that's just not healthy for you. That's just going to put you back into another cycle of yo-yo dieting, and get you back into a state mentally where you don't know how to eat properly, and you don't know how to deal with the fact that you may be gaining weight, or that you just had that one meal. So don't do that to yourselves. It's not good mentally, and it's not good physically. But on the flip side of that, there are some things that you should be doing when you have a bad day of eating. One is, you need to accept the fact that it is what it is, right? Enjoy it. It was a fun and enjoyable event. Take it for what it is. You had fun with your family, you ate some good food, you had some good lumpia, you had some good fried chicken. Enjoy it. Food should always be enjoyable. But we always have to think about portion size and this and that, but that comes later on, right? Take it for what it is. Take it as an enjoyable event. And the second thing is, just get back on track. Whatever you were doing before, if you're looking at a 1,500 calorie diet, get back on track with that the next day. Don't have to go 1,200 or 1,000 calories. Just get back on track. Go back to what you're eating. Usually get back to eating your fruits and your vegetables. Get back to eating good carbohydrates, good sources of protein. Drink tons of water. And that's it. Just get back on track. You don't have to forego everything and say, I'm done, I quit. Because that's not what life is about. You have to keep continuing, even though we get a little bump in the road, right? Get back on track with being consistent as well. This one little mishap, this one little bump in the road is not going to be how it's going to lay out the rest of your days. Take the weekend for what it is. Monday, Tuesday through Friday, get back on track with your diet, get back on track with your healthy eating habits, and exercise again. Once you start doing that, the weekend will get easier. And, Easter's over, so weekends are going to be a lot easier. We're not going to have parties and stuff like that for the next few weeks. But, if you do, don't worry about it, And the last thing is, you always need to be realistic about your approach to how you're eating. Dieting is a short-term fix to a lifelong problem. We're always going to have to figure out what we're going to eat. We're always going to have parties on the weekend. We're always going to have a happy hour. We're always going to have drinks with our friends, and we're always going to have to eat with our families. So be realistic about that. Don't be overly concerned about, I can't eat this and I can't eat that because I'm on a diet. Be realistic about your approach. Look at the food that you're eating. Look at the portion sizes. Choose the healthier options. If there's salad, go eat the salad first. We had a Fanat Put the other night, and on the table there was salad, but it was towards the end of the table, like it usually is. And when I got to the salad, out of maybe 100-something people, I would say only 5 people touched it, right? There are healthier options everywhere we go. So take those healthier options. Eat the salad first, eat your vegetables first, put it on your plate so you're making sure that you're eating nutritious foods, and then go for the other stuff, right? We are always going to have to deal with this every single day. So don't think that just because you failed, it's over. Get back on track. I'm Jess from the Boca Box. I'll see you guys next week on the HotSpot with another health and nutrition tip. See you guys next week.
All right, congratulations to Logan and Tina once again. That's awesome news. All right, stay tuned. More coming up.
The One Micronesia Show, Sundays on the stations and digital platforms of KUAM Communications. Join me, Victorious Fawn, for one-on-one interviews with Micronesians in our region and around the world doing amazing things and representing our community. Plus, I'll be sharing different looks at our diverse cultures, languages, food, and much more. And as a special treat and a way to end the show, we're hooking you up with a musical performance every month with a One Mic Jam Sesh, sharing music from all over the Micronesian region. It's sharing our common world because we are One Micronesia.
Want a real taste of New York? The classic New York pizza offers a big, bold taste that's a Guam favorite. It's handmade with 16 inches of foldable crust, a sweet marinara sauce, and your favorite topping. And at 30% larger than our large, classic New York pizza is only $10.99 for carryout. Bring together your family and friends for a classic New York pizza party. Each pizza is just $10.99 for carryout. Classic New York pizza. So close, you can taste it. Only at your Island Pizza Hut.
And now it's time for Nihi Zen KUAM. Nihi Zen KUAM.
Have you tried the con with this kind of fish?
No.
You know what con is?
No.
It's pounded breadfruit. On the next episode.
Half a day. Gwaho si Mary Leon Guerrero na nambiha para inetuho si Ipit sa Nicholas. Toto islan Guamham.
Ali kung iltutaw ang klera Andresina ngalgela ibu obak ma Andres sangabaw engang ngalgela Cody Ragamasik Cruz. We are Other Belao.
Rananim. My name is Carmen and this is my daughter Sophia and we are from the island of Chuk.
Today we're going to talk about fish.
Do you know how to say fish in our language?
Eek. KUAM. Nigala?
Nigala. Cody, did you know that fish is good for us?
It is?
It is.
It's good for our heart and our arteries.
Zan maulik para protein.
Filled with omega-3.
Zan maulika para tatotauta.
Fish is a staple food for us here in Micronesia.
Our people have eaten it for many years.
Grandma ate it, great-grandma, all the way back to our ancestors in Palau and here on Guam.
There's a lot.
Today I brought ikesan.
Mom, what kind of fish is this?
It's tuna.
How'd you make it?
So you take a little bit of salt and you put it onto the fish. You rub it into the fish.
Este naguihan lagwa. Zan tugaf te manu fatina sisti?
Say manu.
Ua flito asni finet na zana sika. Okay, peswa flito ge lana nidzo. Za mani za todo paskas tigisan hinsan.
Cody, today we brought cloin salasal. It's a Palauan fish soup. It's a parrotfish. I know, we like parrotfish.
Why is it a leaf?
That's a lelatitim from the pickle tree, so it gives it a tangy taste. It's a clear soup. So there's fish, water, oil, some seasoning, salt, and then there's your lelatitim. Would you like to try it?
Okay, let's taste it.
Sagi esti dididit sa gopi sagi.
And then try some of the soup.
That's good.
Manya?
Again.
You like it?
It's oily. I'm a car now. What do you like to eat the lagwa with?
Zahud zan neksa, zahud zan lemai.
With gugao, which is taro, and even prak, which is the other kinds of taro.
Mom, what's your favorite thing to eat this with?
I like this with hot rice. And on top of this, I like to put lime or lemon juice and hot pepper. Does that sound yummy?
It just makes me want to eat it.
Okay.
I want to eat now. Kusina and Hasu Izamuna first time parang kana lagwa?
Hungan. Ani hubenyo kinihago. Ani manhono tori familia mameska. Pues man matugigima managoskas. Pues ma flito zaman matatsangan zaman zaman bokahan. Zon tungo, ifinena bahay no tagisti, gaod ganot, nite lang, sa tiuatan, tutse ko guato lang, zaputi, lomonye.
When is the first time you had fish soup?
You know, we were eating this from the time we were babies. So we were always eating fish soup. I ate more fish soup than I ate fried chicken or meat or Spam. If we weren't eating fish soup, we were eating fried fish or smoked fish or raw fish. Fish, fish, fish.
Thank you for sharing your food with me today.
Buen provecho.
Thank you, Mom, for sharing your food with me today.
You're welcome, my daughter. I hope that you learned something today and that I can continue to share with you our traditions and our culture so that in the future you can pass it down to your children.
For more culturally related videos like this, subscribe to Nihi
Watch more
on YouTube.
Nihi. We will wrap the show up after this. The American Red Cross Guam chapter presents the 21st annual Red Ball on May 28, 2023 at the Dusitani Guam Resort. Compassion to action. The American Red Cross, through its strong network of volunteers, donors, and partners, is always there in times of need. They aspire to turn compassion into action. Support the American Red Cross in fulfilling its vision. Save the date, May 28th, the 21st annual Red Ball at the Dusitani Guam Resort. We are out of time. We'll see you next time.